After the infamous cyber pigs that we saw last summer, Elon Musk and Neuralink did it again and implanted electrodes in the brains of other animals. This time, monkeys. There has been some buzz about this news lately, so I want to talk about it a little bit. A few days ago, Musk revealed that Neuralink managed to implant some tiny electrodes in the brains of a monkey. The technology is the same shown last summer during the live presentation, where pigs with implanted electrodes were shown eating and walking. Let's remember that these electrodes are implanted in the brain cortex and can detect electrical signals generated by brain activity. These signals are then digitalized and transmitted to a computer. In the 2019 Neuralink launch event, so even 1 year before the pig's presentation, it was already revealed that Neuralink was planning on working with monkeys, in addition to rats and pigs. But this time, instead of just walking around, the animals were playing video games. Specifically, something similar to the classic video game Pong. What? Playing video games? What are you doing, Elon? You just implanted electrodes in the brain of a monkey just to let it have it play video games? Seems unnecessary and cruel. Now, before you grab your torches and pitchforks, hear me out. Using brain-computer interfaces on animals playing video games is not something new, it's not something that Neuralink and Elon Musk invented. In 2019, researchers at the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon University published a study on rhesus monkeys, brain electrodes and video games. The objective of the researchers was to study how new skills are learned. The monkeys in the study received a brain implant the size of a pinky fingernail that allowed them to control a cursor on a computer with their mind. The monkeys would then move the cursor and click on targets. Once a monkey figured out how the game worked, the game was reprogrammed and the neurons controlling the cursor were changed. That is, the electrodes were mapped to different brain areas. The monkey then had to figure out new brain activity patterns to hit the target. Seeing the monkey adjusting and learning new patterns allowed the researchers to gain data on skill learning. But it's not just video games. Monkeys and brain-computer interfaces have been the protagonists of other studies with more direct and visible beneficial applications. Back in 2008, researchers from the University of Pittsburgh made a monkey control a robotic arm with his own thoughts, which was clearly a precursor for research on brain-control prosthetics, that is, devices that allow people with disabilities to control artificial limbs with the mind. In this case, the electrodes are implanted in the motor cortex, and when the patient thinks about moving a limb, the thought is digitalized into a command for the robotic arm. In late 2020, so pretty recently, monkeys and brain-computer interfaces were also the protagonists of another study published by the Netherlands Institute of Neuroscience. The objective of this study was to allow people with optic nerve damage to see again. This time the electrodes were placed in the visual cortex and they could stimulate with electrical pulses the neurons of the visual cortex, allowing the monkeys to see pixelated images, something similar to this. The researchers, however, pointed out how scar tissue might form around the electrodes, making lasting biocompatibility an issue. A potential solution would be to use ultra-thin, flexible electrodes, which will last longer, which have less biocompatibility issues compared to the rigid ones which are usually used for brain-computer interfaces. And guess which company is working on flexible electrodes for brain implants? Yep, you guessed right, it's Neuralink. So coming back to Neuralink, unfortunately we don't have a lot of information about these results on the monkeys as of today. We will see in a couple of weeks, but what we can say right now is that this kind of research is not the dream of a crazy scientist, and that video games can in fact be a valuable tool to learn how the brain works. And this could be the foundation for extremely important results that could help many people in the future. If you want to learn more about these studies, you can check the link in the description. I send you all the papers or the articles. And if you also want to watch more videos about Neuralink and brain-computer interfaces, you can check them on my channel. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.